Why, hello! It's me, Smooth Brain. And today we have another beauty battle! I'm super excited because today's contender is one I've been sitting on and really wanting to play with, Dede's Signature. And I actually bought a couple palettes by her, but I'm going to actually focus on this one first. The Golden Tides palette, because look at how colorful this is. Wait, let me get all the plastic off. It's a 9-pan palette with these beautiful colors, bright and cheery. Just when you thought summer was over, it's coming back again! So let's look at that. And Dede's Signature is a black-owned beauty brand, and here's a picture of our beautiful Dede. I guess that's her name. I haven't talked to her except just replying to her Instagram. I'll link all of that down below. And the contender today is another big store brand called Anastasia of Beverly Hills. Now, Anastasia of Beverly Hills is most well known for her eyebrow products, but today I'm going to look at a few of her older palettes called the Norvina palettes. So I have this one. This is a very colorful palette as well. And then I have two bigger ones. This one with butterflies on it has an orange cover. It's called, let's see if it has a name on the back. Volume 3, Norvina Volume 3. This is pretty colorful. I haven't played with these in a very long time. And then I also have the Norvina Volume 1. And Volume 1 has more dark, cool tones, but it might have some matchups for the Golden Tides palette. So before we begin, let's do a quick swatch of this Golden Tides palette so you guys can see what it looks like. I'm going to do all the mattes, and then there's there's also 3 shimmery shiny shades that we're going to test out. So the first color is called Sandy Shore, and it's like a dark tan. Then we have Golden Hour, which is of course a golden yellow. We have Tropical Bloom, which is like a hibiscus pink color. And Fiery Horizon, which is a red, but it's an orangey red. So here's what those look like. Let's swatch them out, and then I'll swatch out the next 2 mattes. They're very nice. The next one, because you can't have a beach and sun without water, right? So the next one is called Aqua Lagoon. And I will tell you, I really love fall, but summer you cannot get me out of the water when I'm on vacation. I just love being in the water, either a pool or the ocean. I prefer an ocean to the lake. And then we have a dark brown, which is called Cocoa Drift. That has some red in it too. It's like a reddy dark brown. So that's those 2 colors. And here's what the whole swatch full of all those really bright summery colors looks like. Love that. Love that for me. Okay, then we have 3 shimmers, like I said. It's got Pearl Glow. Because, you know, let's find a pearl in our clams. Pearls are nice. That's like a really beautiful silver with, I would say a little bit of a gold reflect. And then Tidal Wave, which is another aquamarine color. This one's just really sparkly. And then Coral Reef. And this one has like a darker orange base with a light orange reflect. That's what those look like. Let's swatch them here. Oh, I do like that silver one with the, like it's an orangey gold reflect on it. These are very smooth too. So, I think what I'm gonna do first is let's prep our face. So I have some other things here that we can play with before we get into the true battle. So that's the main show, but let's start with these other things that we can try out and test before the main show. So one thing I got in the mail this week was a sample trial of some foundation by House Labs. And most people know this is Lady Gaga's brand. I like go back and forth with Lady Gaga. First I like her, then I don't like her. I don't know. She's kind of different. Anyway, they'll send you a 3-pack of these little vials, which is nicer than just like one little swipe from a little card. And you just pick like which range you want. And they do charge some shipping and handling, but overall it's not too expensive. I think it's like $6. So what I'm going to do is actually test this on my face. The best way to test when you're trying to do foundations is not on the back of your wrist. I think the back of, this part of your wrist is probably the lightest part of all of your body, except for maybe your cheeks, not these cheeks. See that? So I'm just going to go down like this. That's a little yellow. I might need to go lighter than what these are. So we'll see. So the first one is, oh, that's better. I'll tell you what the colors are in a minute after I swatch them all out. So I like this middle one so far the best. And the last one. And I think you can see the first one here, that is, so it's actually in the middle now because I swatched the one on my chin. The one in the middle is called Light Neutral. And that's a little warm on me. The second one that I swatched, which is on the right side of my face, is called Light Neutral. So I really like that one. And then the third one I swatched, which to me looks a little too light, is, oh, these are all light neutrals. So the lightest one is 110. The one I like is number 160. And the one that's too yellow is 175. So we'll try the 160 on my face. Put these back. Maybe my mom can use the lighter one. All right. Let's just use this. And I'm going to put some on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to use a buffer brush to put this into my skin. I have a Refer number 17 for that. I'll use my mirror to see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's a good batch. This is really nice and thin too. This is like a perfect match. I know the last couple things I tried were either too yellow or too peach or too this or too that. But this is perfecto. And it has decent coverage. I don't think it's, a fully matte coverage, and I don't think it's, I don't think it's like a skin tint either. It's in between those two, so. It's a medium coverage. Don't forget your ears, especially if they're going to be showing. Okay, this is really nice. I'm not putting on any concealer, but we'll use that. And let's see what we can use on the rest of our face. Ooh, I got a little hair there. No, I really like this. I think I'm gonna have to buy a full bottle of this during the Sephora sale. I just have to remember which number it is. Okay, and then I pulled out the Wednesday blush palette again because I really want to try some of these lighter colors. So let's try that. I have like a dog hair or something on my cheek, or my chin. It's really itchy. So let's try, I think I'm going to try this baby pink color over here. And we'll just stop that there. I really like these NYX blushes. I mean, for powder blushes, they go on really nice. They're not super pigmented where you have to be really careful when you put it on, but they're pigmented enough that you can see them with like 1 or 2 brushfuls. So yeah, let's put that on. Nice. And then for my eyebrows, I've been using this e.l.f. pencil. It's a fat pencil, and it's called an Instant Lift Brow Pencil Crayon. And the color is this dark brown, so you can see that. And I just kind of put that along. I have like nothing on this end, and it's thin on this end, so that's where I really need to fill in. So I just fill that in like so. And then I just use the spoolie to brush everything up so it looks nice and neat. I know the fat brows are out again. I used to have those Brooke Shield brows back in the 80s. I did nothing to them and they were glorious. Now, I still have good brows, but they're, you know, thin in here and there. And interestingly, I don't have many gray hairs, but on my eyebrows, I have tons of gray hairs. It's like selectively choosing where to put grays. I don't know, does anyone else have like grays in their eyebrows, but not anywhere else? Is that a thing even? Let's see. Okay, before the battle, we have to prep. So let's prep the canvas with our e.l.f. eye pencil. And just rub that in with our fingy. Make sure my fingy doesn't have too much on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one eye completely with the Golden Hour palette from Dede's Signature. And then I'm going to find comparable colors with the Norvina palettes. And I wanted to show you guys one other palette before I do that. It's a special guest star palette. It's from Kaleidos, and it's the I want to call it the Isopod palette, but it's the Escape Pod. It is not a bug that lives in the water. It is the Escape Pod. So here it is. It's got really pretty packaging, and it's really fat, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But it also has some really bright colors. So I wanted to show you guys that in case you have the Isopod or Escape Pod palette and you want to make a similar look, I think you can do it with this palette. But they're not in the battle right now. They'll have to battle someone else. So let's do... I really want to use this pink. I think I'm going to use the yellow and the pink. So let's start with a yellow. the golden hour color here. And I'm going to put that on the inner corner. Yeah, that is really bright. Wow. But I love it because that's like also 80s and 90s when I was getting dressed up and going out for parties and dances. These are the colors we used. And then I'm going to use pink, the pink color, which is called Tropical Bloom. I'm also going to put that in the crease with a fat brush. Let me find one. This fat brush, and here's that hyacinth, or not hyacinth, hibiscus color. It's like a tropical pink. There is a little kick up in the pan, but really not that bad. And yes, this is beautiful. Look at that color. So I'm just going to go like real colorful here. And it's going on lovely. My brush, I just cleaned it, so it's still a little damp, but it does not need any help. I really like this color. Oh, you know what? Let's zoom in too so you guys can see better. This way. Whoa. Yeah, that's better. Okay. So yeah, this pink is everything. And then I kind of want to put some red in here too because I can't help myself. And so we're going to put this Fiery Horizon right here, right underneath. Oh man, that is gorgeous. Look at that. And you know, you could probably blend these all. I'm kind of leaving them separate, but the blending could really make it look like a sunrise or sunset. I'm going to just brighten that pink up a little bit. I'm just going to blend it out with this pink brush. And then to really complement that, I'm going to go with the orange Coral Reef on my lid. That's nice. Seriously, her matte formula is amazing though. Like, how did she get them so bright? It's gonna be hard to beat these mattes. So we're just gonna, that looks pretty because it's picking up the yellow, the pink, and the red all in one. And just to ground everything out, get it ground, I'm gonna put some of that brown Cocoa Drift on my lash line. Let's see, this is probably the brush to use for that. And that looks pretty too. And maybe a little bit of this lighter brown in here. So it goes from light to dark. Okay, so that's what it looks like when we use Dede Signature. Can we match that or do better with the Norvina palettes? Well, let's try. It's going to be hard to beat those mattes. Okay, so the first color we need is like a bright yellow. And in this palette, we have this bright yellow here. So I'm going to try that one. Let me make sure I clean that off well because, yeah, it's called E4, the color. And there's not, I mean, that's pigmented, but it's not as bright. Like, you can see the difference between this side and this side. Let's just show you. if I swatch this one, the E3 versus this one, here you go. I mean, which one's better? Obviously this one, and that is the Dede signature on top. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see if there's a color that matches the pink. There is a pink in this palette. Let's see what's in the other palette as well. I think this pink actually is closer. So in this one, we have A5, which is this top corner one here. And I'm going to use that. I'm getting rid of the residue from Dede's before I try this out because I don't want that beautiful Dede's color to contaminate my Norvina, because we want to make sure it's the same brightness, etc. And it is not. You can see right here on my eye, this is the pink from Dede's, and this is the pink with one swipe of the Norvina. Let's see if I can build it up a little bit. But I'll show you those swatches too. I mean, it's very similar color, but again, the payoff is just not there. Now, could this be because these palettes are older? Possibly, but I haven't had similar problems with other palettes in the past. So let's again do this swatch test and look at how they swatch. I mean, you can't tell what looks better from swatches usually, but in this case, that doesn't seem to be the case well. This is a little different color. I'm going to swatch one from this palette too. So on the top again is Dede's, and that Dede's is really, really bright and beautiful. Let me do this. So yeah, on the right side of the screen is the Dede's. In the middle is the Norvina's, which you can see it kind of fades out in the middle there. It doesn't have the same amount of pigment. And then there's also another Norvina's, but that's more orangey pink. It's not the same color. And then the last color I used was this gorgeous red color. So let's see if there's a color like that. Again, I think it's in this volume 1. And let's swatch that versus the Dede's. And this is a little bit pinker, but you can still see there's pigment in that Norvina one, but it's just not as bright. It's just a little bit washed out compared to the Dede's. So there's all 3 of those shades. The right one on each side is the Dede's. Okay, let's put some of the red on anyway, just to make it the same. And we use this brush for the red. Again, swatch off that extra amount that was on Dede's. And we put that red right here. And that's not bad. It's just a little bit more patchy, a little bit duller, just not the same. And then we want an orange sparkle. And it looks like the only orange sparkle I really have in these palettes is number 51 from the first palette. Is that right? 51? No, sorry, E1 from the first palette. Comparison to comparison. And I will say, it just doesn't have the depth, and it's all one color. It's like the orange doesn't have as much gold reflect. It doesn't have that little bit of red base underneath. So if I had to choose right now, obviously I'm going to choose Dede's Signature. I'm going to also look up the prices and put them below. I have a sneaking suspicion that even though these palettes are old, they're probably originally more expensive. So we'll see how that works. Okay, let's finish up the look and I'll be back and we can talk. So here's the finished look. And what do you guys think? I think the winner this time is pretty clear. Let's give it up for the indie darling Dede Signature. Why did I choose them? Well, Dede Signature's mattes I would rate at a 5 out of 5. They're so intense, the color payoff is great, and it just goes smoothly onto your lid and blends out like a dream. The ABH Norvina palette, I'd give them maybe a 2.5 out of 5. I really didn't like them. They have a lovely color, but they don't go on smoothly and it doesn't build up the way I would like it to. I want them to really pop, and there's no pop with the ABH, unfortunately. Now the shimmers I think, maybe Dede can improve that a little bit, but I know that wasn't the focus of this palette either. So I'll try out some other palettes and let you know what I think of her overall. But for this palette, I'm going to give her like a 3.5. I do think they have some depth. They definitely have at least a duochrome shift with the gold, and it has like this red undertone with that orange. But the Norvina palette, I give them like a 2. Their shimmers are almost satin in payoff. They don't have a lot of sparkle, and they certainly don't have any sort of depth to them. So the winner, obviously, for this is Golden Tides by Dede Signature. And I will tell you that I believe in price they're going to win as well. I will compare apples to apples and try and work it out per pan so that it's not like, this 20 pan versus a 9 pan. But overall, Dede Signature is not that expensive. They're a decently priced product. So let's hear it for Dede Signature. What do you guys think? Do you like Dede Signature? Do you like ABH? Which do you prefer? And if you want to say something, go ahead and leave a comment and then hit the thumbs up as well. Feel free to subscribe because I'm always looking for new subscribers. And remember, don't be sad, be happy. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye!